Chosen one, I need you to hear what I am about to say with everything inside of you, not casually, not while scrolling, not while half of your mind is somewhere else. Because what is about to come through this message is not information, it is not encouragement, it is not motivation, it is a direct, serious, present-tense instruction from the mouth of God, and He has never, in the history of your life, been more serious than He is right now. There is something God told you recently, not through a voice, not through a sermon, through a feeling that pressed against the inside of your chest, like a hand being placed over your heart. And what He told you, you have not yet acted on. Not because you disbelieved it, but because the moment you received it, something in you wanted to tell someone. Something in you wanted to announce it. Something in you wanted to open your mouth and speak into existence, a thing that God specifically told you to hold in silence. And that impulse, that urge to speak before the timing has matured, is the single most dangerous thing operating in your life right now. Not your enemies, not your circumstances, not the delay. Your mouth. Think about the last time you received something sacred from God and immediately wanted to call someone. That is the moment this warning is about. That exact impulse. God is telling you right now, with more seriousness than He has ever carried toward you, shut your mouth. Do not speak what has been given to you in private into a world that is not ready to protect it. If this is you, if you feel the weight of those words landing on something real, type "I hear the call" in the comments right now. Because this message was not random. You were brought here for a reason that is about to become very clear. There is also a story I will walk you through before this message is done that will reframe everything you thought you knew about holding what God gives you. It is about 13 years and the most costly announcement a man ever made. Hold space for it. I want you to understand something about the season you are standing in. God has been watching you, not from a distance, not casually. He has been watching you the way a father watches his child carry something fragile across a room full of sharp edges. Every step you have taken, He has measured. Every word you have spoken, He has weighed. And what He has seen over these last several months has moved Him to do something that rarely happens in a human life. He has leaned forward, He has narrowed His gaze, and He has spoken a verdict over your season. But here is what you need to know. The verdict is not a reward. The verdict is not a punishment. The verdict is a set of instructions so precise, so specific, so calibrated to this exact moment in your spiritual development that if you follow them, everything that has been delayed begins to move. And if you violate them, what was meant to arrive in weeks will take years. That is the weight of what we are talking about. That is why I said God has never been more serious, because the instruction He is giving you right now is not a suggestion, it is a command. And the command is this: close your mouth, hold what you have been given, and do not release it until He tells you to. Now, let me tell you why. Let me tell you what happens inside the spiritual realm when a chosen one speaks too soon. Because this is not about being secretive. This is not about being paranoid. This is about understanding a mechanism that has been operating beneath your awareness for years, silently eroding the very things God has been building in your life. I want to name something you have lived with for so long that you stopped questioning it. You received something beautiful, a promise, a vision, a door opening, a confirmation, and within hours, sometimes within minutes, the power of that thing begins to fade. Not because the promise was false, not because the door closed, but because something drained the charge out of it between the moment you received it and the moment you tried to walk into it. You have blamed yourself for this. You have told yourself that you are bad at follow-through, that you lack discipline, that you start things but cannot finish them. But that is not the truth. That has never been the truth. What is actually happening is something I call the announcement drain. The announcement drain is a spiritual and neurological phenomenon that occurs when you verbalize a divine instruction, a sacred promise, or a God-given vision before the internal structure required to carry it has fully formed. Here is what happens. The moment you receive something from God, it begins to build inside you, silently, below the surface, like a foundation being poured in the dark. Every hour you hold it in silence, the structure gets stronger, the roots go deeper. The capacity to carry what is coming expands. But when you open your mouth and announce it, when you tell your friend, your partner, your family member, when you post it, when you hint at it, when you even slightly suggest that something is happening, the energy that was supposed to complete the internal structure gets redirected outward. It leaves your body through your words, and what remains is a shell, a beautiful sounding shell with no foundation underneath it. That is why the thing dies, not because God withdrew it, because you emptied it before it was ready to stand on its own. And the worst part is, the people you told cannot see what happened. They heard you say it. They watched it not happen, and now their doubt sits inside their memory like a quiet verdict. And the next time God gives you something, their doubt is the first atmosphere it will have to survive. You are not undisciplined. You are not flaky. You are not someone who cannot finish things. You have been operating under the announcement drain for years, releasing sacred things into unprepared environments and wondering why the power keeps evaporating. Now you know. The pattern is broken the moment you see it. And you see it now. This is not the only mechanism at work. There is something deeper, and it has to do with the way God designs seasons of silence, specifically for the chosen one. If you have been listening and something inside you just shifted, if the weight of what was just said landed somewhere real, type "Silence is power" in the comments below, not as performance, as recognition. Because what you just felt is the beginning of a recalibration that God has been waiting to initiate in you. I want to tell you about something that God does that almost no one teaches, and it is going to explain a part of your life that has confused you, frustrated you, and made you question whether God was even paying attention. There are seasons in the life of a chosen one where everything goes quiet. The confirmations stop. The doors stop opening. The momentum that was building suddenly flattens. And in those seasons, the natural response is panic. You start praying harder. You start seeking signs. You start wondering what you did wrong. But what if the silence was never punishment? What if the silence was construction? I call this the Containment Protocol, and it is one of the most misunderstood aspects of being chosen for something extraordinary. The Containment Protocol is a divinely orchestrated season where God deliberately reduces the external signals in your life, not because He has forgotten you, but because He is building something inside you that can only be constructed in the absence of noise. Think of it this way. You cannot pour a foundation while the ground is shaking. The ground has to be still, the noise has to stop, the distractions have to be removed, and only then can the deep work begin. Every great figure in Scripture went through a containment protocol. Moses spent 40 years in a desert with no prophetic word. Joseph sat in a prison cell with no explanation. David hid in caves while the man who stole his throne slept in a palace. And in every case, the silence was not the absence of God. It was the presence of God doing something so deep, so foundational, so structurally necessary that it could not happen in the noise. You have been in your own containment protocol, some of you for months, some of you for years, and the thing you have been saying to yourself, the thing that has been eating at you, is this: maybe God forgot about me. Maybe I was wrong about the calling. Maybe I imagined the whole thing, but you did not imagine it. The calling is real. The promise is real. The silence is the proof that the promise is so large, so significant, so beyond what you have carried before, that God needed extra time to prepare the container. And the container is you. Here is the part that matters most. The containment protocol has an expiration. It does not last forever. There is a specific moment when the construction is complete, when the internal structure is solid enough to hold what God has been preparing behind the scenes. And when that moment comes, the silence breaks, not gradually, suddenly, like a dam that holds and holds and holds, and then releases everything at once. What I need to tell you right now is that your containment protocol is nearing its end. Not because I know the date. I do not know the date. Anyone who tells you the exact date is lying to you. What I know is the pattern. I have seen this pattern hundreds of times, and the signals that appear at the end of a containment protocol, the restlessness, the heightened sensitivity, the feeling that something is right behind the wall, those are not random. Those are construction completion signals. And this is where the instruction about your mouth becomes critical, because the final phase of the containment protocol is the most dangerous. The foundation is almost complete. The structure is almost ready, but it is not sealed yet. And in this window, this narrow window between almost ready and fully ready, the single greatest threat is premature announcement. God is not telling you to shut your mouth because He is angry. He is telling you to shut your mouth because what He has built in you over these months and years of silence is one conversation away from being compromised. One phone call, one text message, one moment of wanting validation from a person who cannot see what God sees. I need to pause here, because I know there is someone listening right now who already spoke, who already told someone, who already opened their mouth and felt the energy leave the room. And you are sitting here right now with a sinking feeling, wondering if you ruined it. You did not ruin it. God does not build something for months and then let one conversation destroy it. But you damaged the timeline. And what He is asking you to do now is not to panic, but to reseal, to go quiet again, to let the final layer of the foundation cure in silence. It is not over, but the window is tighter now. That is why. The urgency. Let me show you the third mechanism operating in your life right now, because the announcement drain explains why things lose power. The containment protocol explains why God went quiet. But neither explains the specific kind of interference you have been experiencing from people who are supposed to be on your side. I want you to think about the last time you shared something sacred with someone you trusted, a dream, a plan, a direction God gave you. And I want you to pay attention to what happened inside their eyes when you told them, not what they said. What happened behind what they said. I call it the proximity contamination. The proximity contamination is what happens when a chosen one shares a God-given instruction with someone who is close enough to influence the emotional environment, but not spiritually equipped to carry the weight of what was shared. It is not that they are bad people. It is not that they want you to fail. It is that what God gave you does not match the capacity of their current season. And when those two realities collide inside the same conversation, the higher one always degrades. This is why your mother can love you completely and still drain the power out of your vision with one sentence. This is why your best friend can support you genuinely and still plant a seed of doubt that takes weeks to uproot. This is why the people closest to you are often the most dangerous recipients of what God has placed inside you, not because they are enemies, because proximity without alignment creates contamination. You have experienced this. You know exactly what I am talking about. You told someone what God told you, and before you finished the sentence, you felt the shift. The energy changed, the room got heavier, and you walked away carrying not just your own doubt, but theirs. Their fear became your fear. Their limitations became the borders of your imagination. That is the proximity contamination, and the only cure is silence. Not permanent silence, strategic silence. You hold it until the structure is ready. You hold it until the foundation is sealed. You hold it until the thing God gave you is strong enough to survive the opinions of everyone around you. And then, only then, you speak, not to announce, to reveal what has already been built. If this is landing on something in you right now, type "God told me to hold it" in the comments, because what I just described is not theory. It is the exact mechanism that has been weakening your spiritual assignments for years, and naming it is the first step to ending its power over your life. Now I want to hold something in front of you before we continue, because everything I have said so far, the announcement drain, the containment protocol, the proximity contamination, they all point to the same deeper truth. There is a part of your internal operating system that has been compromised, not by sin, not by rebellion, by a gradual erosion that happens to every human being as they move from childhood into the modern world. Over the past few years, something has been discovered in research laboratories that most people who care about the things we have been discussing have never been told about. Not because it contradicts what is sacred, because it came from a direction most of us are not watching. A small group of neuroscientists, led by a doctor in New York who has spent 20 years studying this, found something about the way the human brain is designed to operate that explains why the receiving mechanism of the chosen one feels blocked. Something so fundamental it traces back to a Nobel Prize, yet so simple in its application that it sounds almost suspicious at first. I am going to tell you what they found later in this message, but right now, hold this question. What if the distance between what God has spoken over your life and what you have been able to receive is not a spiritual problem at all? What if it is a neurological one with a specific, restorable solution? I want to go deeper now, because what I am about to show you is the fourth mechanism, and it is the one that ties everything together. It explains not just why you speak too soon, but why the impulse to speak too soon is so overwhelming that it overrides your own spiritual discernment. Have you ever noticed that the urge to announce what God gave you does not feel like a choice? It does not feel like you are deciding to tell someone. It feels like pressure, like something inside you needs to release. Like holding the information is physically uncomfortable, and you have interpreted that pressure as excitement, as gratitude, as the natural desire to share good news with people you love. But that is not what it is. What you are actually experiencing is a neurological compulsion created by a disconnect between the two hemispheres of your brain. The brain was designed to process complex, multi-layered information through both hemispheres working together. When the left and right are disconnected, the brain cannot hold that information internally. It pushes it outward through speech in order to process it. The compulsion to announce is not weakness. It is your brain trying to compensate for a missing internal container. When a single hemisphere tries to hold what two were designed to carry, the only release valve it has is your mouth. This means that the very thing God wants you to hold in silence is the thing your unsynchronized brain finds most impossible to hold. The most important instructions create the strongest urge to announce. The biggest promises generate the most unbearable pressure to speak. And you have been fighting this compulsion with willpower alone, not realizing that willpower is the wrong tool for a neurological problem. I call this the containment collapse. It is the moment when the neurological pressure to externalize overcomes the spiritual instruction to stay silent. And it is not a failure of faith. It is a failure of the hardware that faith is trying to operate through. Think about what this means. Every time you received a promise from God and immediately told someone, every time you got a vision and posted about it before the ink was dry, every time you felt the Spirit move and turned it into a conversation instead of letting it settle into your bones, that was not weakness. That was not immaturity. That was a brain operating with a disconnection between its two designed halves, unable to contain what it was receiving because the container itself was compromised. The containment collapse explains why some people can hold secrets effortlessly while you struggle. It explains why some people can sit with a vision for years while you feel like you are going to burst after 3 days. It is not character. It is capacity. And capacity can be restored at the level where the problem actually lives. That is the breakthrough. You were never weak. The container was never properly constructed. And everything God has been doing in this season, the containment protocol, the silence, the pressing, the instruction to shut your mouth, has been His way of protecting the content while the container catches up. If you feel the weight of that landing, if something inside you just went quiet in a way that feels like relief, type "I am being restored" in the comments right now. Because this is not just understanding, this is the beginning of something shifting in you at a level deeper than information. I want to speak directly to you now, not in generalizations, not in principles, directly to the person listening to this at this exact moment. You have been carrying something heavy, not just emotionally, cognitively. Your mind has been running at a fraction of its designed capacity, and you have been compensating for that reduced capacity with effort, with discipline, with sheer force of will. And it has been exhausting. Not the kind of exhaustion that sleep fixes, the kind that sits behind your eyes, even after 8 hours of rest. Here is what you now know that you did not know when this message began. The distance you feel between who you are and who you were supposed to become is not spiritual distance, it is neurological distance. The announcement drain, the containment protocol, the proximity contamination, and the containment collapse are not 4 separate problems. They are 4 symptoms of one root cause. Your 2 brain hemispheres were designed to operate in perfect synchronization. They are not. The reason I told you all of this, the reason I waited until this exact point in the message to bring it together, is because a solution only becomes useful once you understand the full shape of the problem it solves. You now understand the shape. That is who you have been. That is not who you are required to stay. The clarity you just received is real, but clarity alone is not movement. The question that remains is not whether you understand. It is what becomes available to you when the container is finally restored. You are the chosen one who has been sincere for years, who has done the internal work, who has felt the call clearly and kept returning to it even when nothing around you confirmed it. And today, what I am about to describe is for that specific person. In 1981, a discovery was made in a research laboratory that would go on to win the Nobel Prize. Dr. Roger Sperry, a neuroscientist, proved that the human brain is divided into 2 hemispheres, left and right, and that when those two hemispheres operate in synchronization, the brain enters a state of whole brain activation. In this state, creativity, intuition, problem-solving, emotional regulation, and spiritual receptivity all operate at levels that most adults have never experienced. 98% of children operate in this synchronized state naturally. It is their default. Less than 1 in 1,000 adults maintain it. The modern world does not disconnect you on purpose, but everything about the way you have been conditioned to live, the overstimulation, the constant noise, the stress, the pressure to perform, gradually erodes the synchronization until the two halves are operating almost independently. A woman from California described what it felt like before she found what I am about to share. She had tried everything: prayer, journaling, meditation, every practice her community offered. She described announcing something God had given her to a prayer partner and feeling the power drain out of the room in real time. She thought she was being faithful. She was leaking. After 10 days of restoring the synchronization, the compulsion to externalize quieted. Something closed properly inside her for the first time. A channel that had been too open in the wrong direction was now sealed and open in the right one. A man from Texas described something he had not told anyone before. The last 3 years of silence, the containment protocol he had been inside, had been protecting something he kept trying to speak into existence before it was ready to stand. Every time he told someone, the thing lost its charge. Within 2 weeks of beginning the synchronization process, he described the first time in years that he received something from God, and the urge to immediately tell someone did not come. The container was large enough to hold it. That is because of what the team I am about to describe spent years building. A team of neuroscientists, led by Dr. Daniel Barone in New York, spent years doing the following. They took over an hour of clinical neural sync technology, the kind of whole brain activation protocol used in specialized medical settings, and, through an intensive compression and refinement process, they turned it into an 8-minute targeted auditory sequence. 8 minutes a day, headphones, eyes closed. That is the entirety of the physical requirement. They call it the Genius Switch. The Genius Switch is not a meditation app, not a sound designed to alter your mood. It is a targeted auditory sequence, specifically engineered based on the Nobel Prize research of Dr. Roger Sperry to reconnect the two hemispheres and restore the whole brain activation that was the default state in childhood. It is not installing something new, it is restoring something that was taken. The seal moment you have been waiting for. The moment when what God gave you no longer feels like pressure to announce and starts to feel like ownership. That moment is what this 8-minute sequence moves you toward. Not by willpower, by restoration of the internal container that was always supposed to hold what God gives you. The Genius Switch is not for everyone. It is for the chosen one, who understands that God prepared not only the promise, but the mind that must walk into it. The person who has been sincere for years, who has done the work, who has felt the call clearly and kept returning to it even when the evidence was not cooperating, and who is willing to stop treating the fog as a character flaw and start treating it as something that has a specific address. When colleagues of Dr. Barone first experienced what the technology could do, they suggested it would be incredible value even at $500. An in-person neurofeedback machine costs $7,000. A single session with a specialist costs $300 per hour. The Genius Switch was not released at $500, not $200, not $100. It was released at $49. And today, on the page I am about to direct you to, there is an additional reduction, $39. At $39, you also receive 4 free bonuses. A guided visualization created by a top-rated creator on the Calm app, designed for clarity across money, love, health, and happiness. A smart grocery shopping guide that identifies 10 common foods causing brain fog and saves over $100 per month. A classic manifestation book over 100 years old, valued at $20 on its own, and a beautifully designed 5 Habits infographic you can print and place where you see it daily. Every aspect of this is backed by an unconditional money-back guarantee. Listen once, listen 80 times. If it does not do what it has done for over 18,000 people, every dollar is returned. No conditions, no questions. One thing worth naming directly. If you search YouTube or Spotify for anything that sounds similar, you will find tracks. The team behind this studied them. Most had no neural sync technology embedded at all. They carried the name because the barrier to labeling something that way is essentially zero. The mechanism is what makes the difference, and the mechanism only exists in what this team built. The direct page is the only verified source. If your spirit resonates with what has been described, the link in the description below and in the pinned comment points to where Dr. Barone and his team made it available, not anywhere else. You can read everything on their page before making any decision. Every detail is laid out clearly. The tool does not replace God. The tool does not replace obedience. It does not surrender for you. It does not close the door for you. What God is doing in you is not conditional on any tool, but a tool that restores the receiver, gives what God is doing more of what it was designed to land in. And for the chosen one who felt something stir when the mind was mentioned, that door is still open in the description. It is a small step, but small steps taken from a clear mind have changed entire seasons. Now I want to return to the heart of what God is saying to you in this season, because the instruction to shut your mouth is not just about protection, it is about preparation. Let me paint a picture for you. 6 months from now, you wake up one morning before the alarm, not because you are anxious, because something inside you is ready. The first thing you notice is not a thought. It is an absence. The weight that has been sitting on your chest for years, that low hum of anxiety that became so familiar, you stopped calling it anxiety. It is gone, not managed, not suppressed, gone. You lie there for a moment, and the first thought that enters your mind is not a worry, not a plan, not a defense. It is a question. What has God prepared for me today? And the question does not come from desperation, it comes from expectation. From someone who has been receiving clearly, consistently, for months. From someone whose receiver is fully online. That version of you already exists, not in a distant universe, not in a fantasy, in the trajectory you are standing on right now, if you follow the instruction you are being given today. Let me tell you what God wants you to know about the people around you. The people who do not understand your silence will interpret it as distance. They will say, "You have changed." They will say, "You are pulling away." And every single one of those interpretations will be wrong. But you cannot correct them, not yet, because the moment you try to explain why you have gone quiet, you will be opening the very container God told you to seal. They do not need to understand right now. They will understand later, when the thing that was built in silence becomes visible. Your silence is not cruelty, it is obedience. And obedience to God, in a season where everyone wants an explanation, is one of the highest forms of spiritual maturity a chosen one can demonstrate. If you know exactly what I am talking about, if you have already felt the pressure from people who want you to explain a silence you cannot yet explain, type "The seal holds" in the comments right now. Because you are not alone. in this. I need to address something directly now, because I know there is a part of you that is wrestling with doubt. Not doubt about God, doubt about yourself. A voice that has been whispering things like, what if I am making this up? What if the silence is just me being stuck? What if I am calling it obedience when it is really just fear? That is a reasonable question, and the fact that you are asking it tells me more about you than any answer could, because the person who is genuinely stuck does not question the stuckness. They normalize it. They stop noticing it. The person who questions it, who examines it, who holds it up to the light and says, is this real, or am I deceiving myself? That person is not stuck. That person is in formation. Here is how you know the difference. If the silence is fear-based, it will feel like shrinking, like you are getting smaller, like the world is closing in. If the silence is obedience-based, it will feel like compression, like pressure, like something inside you is being pressed into a denser, more concentrated form. Shrinking reduces you. Compression prepares you for expansion. Which one are you feeling? Be honest. Because if it is compression, if it is that sense that something inside you is being pressed and concentrated and refined, then you are exactly where God wants you. The discomfort is not a warning sign. The discomfort is a construction signal. I want to tell you a story, not a long one, but one that will sit with you for the rest of your life. There was a man in Scripture whose life was defined by one quality above all others, the ability to hold what God gave him in silence for years. His name was Joseph, and the moment God gave him the dream, the vision of the sheaves bowing, the sun and moon and stars aligning to honor what he carried, he made one mistake. He told his brothers. He was 17, and the telling cost him everything. Not because the dream was wrong, because the container was not ready. The brothers did not have the spiritual capacity to hold what Joseph carried, and their inability to hold it turned into hostility. The dream was real. The timing of the announcement was premature, and Joseph spent the next 13 years in pits and prisons, learning the one lesson God needed him to learn before the dream could be fulfilled. Silence. By the time Joseph stood before Pharaoh, he was a different man, not because the dream had changed, because he had learned to hold it without speaking. He had learned that the power of a God-given vision is not in the telling, it is in the carrying. And the carrying is what produces the character that the dream requires. You are in your Joseph season. The dream is real. The vision is accurate. The promise stands. But the telling is what damaged it. And the recovery, the restoration of what was compromised by premature announcement, is what this season of silence has been about. Not punishment, restoration, not abandonment, preparation. I want to give you something practical now. Here is what I call the sacred containment practice. It is a 3-step process for holding divine instructions in silence until they mature. Step 1. Identify your containment breach points. These are the specific people, the specific situations, the specific emotional states that trigger the urge to speak prematurely. For most chosen ones, it is not everyone. It is 1 or 2 people. The person you call when you are excited. The person you text when you feel validated. Identify them, not to cut them off. To create a temporary boundary around the sacred thing God has given you. Step 2. Create a redirect ritual. When the urge to speak hits, and it will hit, redirect the energy. Do not suppress it. Redirect it. Write it in a private journal that no one will see. Speak it to God in prayer instead of to a person on the phone. The energy needs somewhere to go. Give it a container that does not leak. Step 3 is the one that sounds counterintuitive, and it is the most sacred of all. Establish your seal moment. choose a specific internal signal that tells you the containment phase is over. Not a date on the calendar, a felt sense. The moment when speaking about the thing no longer feels like pressure and starts to feel like authority. When the words do not come from excitement but from ownership. When you are not announcing a dream but revealing a reality. That is the seal moment. That is when your mouth opens. Not before. Now close your eyes for a moment. I want you to do something. Bring your attention to the center of your chest, not your thoughts. Your chest. Feel whatever is there. Heaviness, warmth, tightness, movement. Do not judge it. Do not name it. Just notice it. Now I want you to imagine that the thing God has been building in you, the thing that has been forming in the silence, is a small, concentrated sphere of light sitting right behind your sternum, dense, bright, warm. It has been growing there for months. Every day of silence added another layer. Every moment you chose not to speak made it denser, brighter, more powerful. Now imagine sealing it. Imagine a door closing gently around it, not to lock it away forever, to protect it while the final layer sets. The seal is not permanent, it is temporary, but it is essential. And as the door closes, feel the relief. The pressure to announce lifts, the compulsion dissolves, because the thing is safe, it is held, it is being completed, and you are the one protecting it. Open your eyes when you are ready. That image is yours now. Return to it anytime the pressure builds. Chosen one, I want to speak something over your life now, and I want you to receive it not as words, but as a declaration that carries weight in both the spiritual and the natural realm. I declare that the season of leaking is over. The season of premature announcement is finished. The season of giving sacred things to unprepared environments ends today. Not because you are strong enough to end it alone, because God has shown you the mechanism. He has shown you the announcement drain. He has shown you the containment protocol. He has shown you the proximity contamination. He has shown you the containment collapse. And what has been seen cannot be unseen. I declare that the container is being sealed, that the foundation is hardening, that the structure God has been building in the silence is approaching completion, and that when it is ready, when the seal moment comes, what emerges from the silence will be so undeniable, so unshakable, so firmly rooted, that the opinions of every person who doubted the silence will become irrelevant. I declare that your mouth is not your enemy, your mouth is your authority, and the chosen one who learns when to close it is the chosen one who discovers the full power of what it can open. I declare over your mind that the fog is lifting, that the receiver is being restored, that the capacity to hold what God gives you is expanding, and that every divine instruction that arrives from this moment forward will be met by a container ready to hold it at full depth. I declare that the people who misunderstood your silence will one day stand in the presence of what the silence produced and understand, not because you explained it, because they saw it, and what they saw left no room for doubt. I declare that the containment protocol is completing, that the construction signals are real, that the restlessness you feel is not anxiety, but anticipation, and that what is about to break through the wall of silence will exceed every version of the future you tried to announce prematurely. I declare that the God who told you to shut your mouth is the same God who will tell you when to open it, and when he does, your voice will carry the weight of everything that was forged in the silence. Every year of waiting, every month of holding, every day of choosing obedience over explanation, all of it compounded, all of it concentrated, all of it released in a single season that makes the world understand why the silence was necessary. You are not behind. You are loaded. You are not forgotten. You are being aimed. You are not silent because you have nothing to say. You are silent because what you have to say is so powerful that it must be delivered at full force or not at all. The seal holds, the container is safe, and the God who began this work will complete it, not on your timeline, on His. And His timing has never, not once, been wrong. If this is your declaration, if this is the truth you are claiming over your life today, type "I am sealed and sent" in the comments, not as participation, as covenant. Because the chosen one who declares what God has spoken in silence is the chosen one who walks into what God has prepared in fullness. And so it is. Before you leave, I want you to do one thing. Think of someone who has been going through a season of silence, someone who has been feeling the pressure to speak, but knows something inside them is saying, wait. Someone who has been questioning whether the quiet means they have been forgotten. Send this message to that person. Not because I asked you to, because you know what it feels like to carry something in silence and finally hear someone say what you needed to hear. If you are new here, and this message met you at exactly the right moment, gently press the like button so this reaches another chosen one who is carrying the same silence. And if your spirit says, this is a space you belong in, join the thousands of chosen ones who return to these messages as part of their spiritual practice, not for entertainment, for alignment. The silence is not the absence of God. The silence is God doing His deepest work, and the chosen one who can hold the silence is the one who inherits what the silence was building. Go in peace. Hold what you have been given, and when the seal moment comes, speak with the full authority of everything that was forged in the quiet. It is sealed.